tap in. 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 Welcome to TT from the D Podcast Show. I'm your host, TT, and I want to thank you for stopping by on this TAPN Tuesday. I want to welcome you, and I want to thank you in advance because you could have tapped into any other podcast, but you chose to stop by TAPN Tuesday, and I'm super excited. Now, I will have to make this disclaimer. We were having some technical difficulties. I'm hoping that it's been settled. We've had, how technology can be. Technology not always our friend, but we're going to try. So I do have my amazing guest in the building tonight. He's super dope. And I'm hoping that you get to meet him and see him tonight and hear all the wonderful things about him. His name is Benny Demus, but you might know him as Benny D. He's AKON's official DJ. He's a girl dad. He's a filmer. He's an actor. He's a writer. He's an entrepreneur. He does some amazing things in his own community as well as worldwide. He's been around the globe more times than I can count. And so I'm going to see if I can bring him into the building tonight. Like I said, we're having some technical difficulties and it's been a long time coming. So I'm so hoping because he's so amazing. And he took time out of his schedule to stop by. So without any further ado, I'm going to try to bring him into the building. If we do have some technical difficulties, then I will carry on and then I will work on rescheduling my amazing guest. But I'm super hoping that it will work out in my favor. So let me try this right now. So I can add my friend to the building. We're going to see. We've been dealing with technical difficulties, but we're going to see. I'm not going to give up. So I'm hoping. I'm crossing my fingers. I'm hoping because he's so dope. He's so dope. And he was sitting there letting me work out my technical difficulties and very patient, very kind, but there is some issues and I'm like, what is really happening here? So I'm not gonna quit because I'm not a quitter, but I am trying. So we're seeing this buffering right now. So like I said, Benny Demus is an amazing DJ. He's like I said, he's AKON's official DJ, but he's also DJ'd for Eve, who's the first lady of Rough Riders. Y'all know who it is. If you don't know who EVE is, I need you to Google. And then he's also been out on the road with TLC. The list goes on. And he's also the tour manager for Rock City. So we're getting ready. We're going to try one more time. Let's see if we can bring him in the building. Let's see. I'm hoping.
I'm here.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yes. I'm super excited.
I can hear you now.
MGZ. First of all, welcome. Thank you. Jesus, God is so good. Because I was sitting there like, oh my God. With your patience, I appreciate you, Benny. Because,
no problem at all.
It's the humility for me, my friend. And you're just like, let me go out, let me try. And I'm like, oh God. We've been trying to get our schedules. And I'm like, really? But that's okay because I wasn't going to quit. And I appreciate you.
No problem at all. I'm here.
Oh my God. So wait, I was giving a little intro for you, but I was still like, okay, this is going to work out. Could you please tell the listeners and our viewers who Benny Demus is?
All right. So Benny Demus, coming straight from St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. I'm a DJ, producer, actor, director, screenwriter, manager, booking agent, all around entertainer, film, music. That's my thing.
Okay. Yeah. You're a girl dad.
I'm a girl dad. Yeah,
you're
definitely.
A girl dad. Yeah.
3 girls.
I know. Yeah. It's crazy. And firstly, I'm just excited because you've blessed me before with your presence on my podcast show, and you were one of the biggest supporters with me when I just had audio. And so now that I've jumped over and I'm in between audio and visual, I've
Nice.
been like, "Yo, you gonna come back?" You like just tell me when if the schedule is
Yep,
allowing it.
that's it.
So I'm grateful because you're very humble. Like I always tell, like it's hard when you meet people that have your status. Like you're around the globe all the time, and even during the pandemic, you still were busy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doing a lot of stuff, a lot of behind the scenes, doing things like there's a lot of layers to you. I like to say that about people when they tap into so much. For one, like even the nonprofit, like the organization with the Luminate, like with that was amazing. I'm like, if I could
Thank
ever
you.
get to the VI, I
Yep.
want to come over there when you
During
do
that
that.
time. Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, man. It's a lot of fun. And the community really loves it. It's a good thing for families to do together.
Yeah.
So that's what the event was created really for, so that we can get family activities going where, the kids can enjoy having the parents hanging out with them, and the parents can enjoy just being around the kids, doing something fun and cool.
Yeah. When you so let's back up a little bit because I know you, but I want the guest and I want the viewers and the listeners to get to tap into and understand who you are. First of all, what was it like growing up in the Virgin Islands?
Hot. Let's
Of
just say
course.
that first off, hot, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but it's home, man. We have a different way of doing things. It might be at a slower pace and stuff like that, but um, it's what we call home. We're only 12 miles long on St. Thomas. It's only 12 miles, so yeah, it's really small. You
I
know,
saw that, and when I saw that, or when I heard you say that, I was looking at one of your interviews a while back, and I said it's only 12 miles. So I was trying to imagine in my mind. I said, okay, so 12 miles for me,
yeah,
that's not long at all.
no, not at all. But we have so many hills and turns and twists that it doesn't. It seems like it's a lot longer. You know, but the
Right.
island from one end to the next is still just 12 miles long. We're only 32 square miles, so 12 miles long. Yeah, man. So, you in a situation like that, you pretty much know everybody.
Yeah.
Or if you have any type of notoriety to you, everybody knows you, you
Right.
know. So, um I grew up being very popular on island because I was in entertainment from the third grade, all the way up. So I was pretty known all over the Virgin Islands itself, just St. Thomas, St. Croix, St. John. And
Yeah.
yeah, pretty easy to, be known in a place like that.
Now, here's a fun fact about you. Some people might not know is that you also, believe it or not, a saxophonist. You have skills as a saxophonist.
Yeah, man. I played saxophone for 12 years,
Mm-hmm.
won the John Philip Sousa Award for being one of the top players out there. And I played saxophone all the way through college,
Wow.
right?
Okay.
But once I was leaving college, I went to college for basketball, and of course I still played in the band. But once I was done with college, at that time it was like I could never afford my own saxophone,
Mm-hmm.
but I always had DJ equipment because my older brother was a DJ before me. That's who I learned to DJ from.
Right.
And once I was done with college and the basketball dreams were done, then I had to decide, am I going to go in the saxophone direction or am I going to go in the DJ direction? But being that I didn't have a saxophone of my own, it was pretty easy for me to say, I'm going to go harder on DJing. And then everything started to transpire from there. So it really became something. I guess as they would say, I made the right choice.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that, especially because I look at you as a friend, but I'm a fan. I always get pumped when I watch the concerts with you guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Your stage presence is phenomenal.
Thank you.
You're extremely hyped. And one thing that for me, knowing a great DJ is when you can actually enjoy a show. Like, let's just say, like, when I first met you, now this is a fun fact for people that don't know this, but when I first met you, Swift was supposed to open up for AKON.
Yeah, yeah.
And there was a really bad storm, and AKON's flight couldn't come in. You remember this?
Yep.
So you're like, the show gonna go on. You're like, nope, we represent. And I'm like,
I hold it down. I hold it down even if he's not there.
Yes. And I was like, that was my first time meeting you. And then I came to negotiate everything. And it was just like, I was like, oh, okay. You were like, well, you got the call when we were having lunch. I remember your team was there. And you're like, no problem. We're still going. And I'm like, okay. So when I went back, I told someone when we got there, it was just like the stage show. I will never forget. Like, I think Lloyd Banks was on that show. Was it Young Buck? Was it Lloyd Banks or Young Buck?
I think it was Young Buck. Young Buck, not Lloyd Banks. Yeah,
it was Young Buck. Okay, so he was on that ticket. Swift performed, and that's when, like, I surprised Swift too. His hype man didn't show up that night, so I ended up coming out as the hype girl. And so, right? And so it was just like, but watching you perform and your team, it was like, I know AKON is proud of you and your team because you represented. There was no one saying we want our money back. We thought AKON was going to be here. You gave them a hell of a show. And I'm like, you the DJ.
Right, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I mean, even if, of course, they're paid to see AKON performing, but, with unfortunate events like that, you just have to be willing and ready to step up. You know what I'm saying? So, sometimes if he's late coming onto the stage because of whatever is happening off the stage, I still have to entertain the masses until it's time. I have to make everything look and feel seamless. You know what I mean? So it is the same thing that would happen even if he can't arrive for a show and we get that information late. I still have to do my job. I'm still there. So I may not sing his songs, but I could still give him a hell of a show as a DJ. You know what I mean?
Do. and with that being said, I'm gonna share something. You don't know what I'm about to share, but I wanna bring people into this energy with us. So I pulled up something and shout out to Swift. Swift got me together with this. He helped me pull this off. But it was like, first of all, it's the mask for me. Your mask be phenomenal. The mask is alone. Like, if people haven't seen it, they're about to see a sneak peek. So I'm going to share something. I'm going to share my screen with the people so they can see this. Here we go. I'm sorry. I'm hyped over here. I'm like, oh, so man, first of all, it's the mask for me. I'm like,
appreciate that. I appreciate that. My friend Kylin made that green one.
Really?
She's here in Atlanta. Kylin made that green one, but I make the mask myself. I make all the other masks myself. So there's one that has like 7 colors. It's a color changing mask. I made that one myself. I made the red one myself. I made the silver and gold. The red one is crazy.
The red one. I saw the red one and I was like, see, I didn't know. Now, see, that's another fun fact. I didn't know you make the mask.
Oh, yeah. I sit down and it takes me something like 2 days, maybe 3 days to make them, but I get them made, and before we leave, once we're done, I'll show you the newest one that I just made, and I didn't even make it for the stage. I made it for. I decided to build a bicycle because I have some friends that um they have a bike show that's coming up. You know what I mean? And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna build a bike just for the fun of it, just to go hang out with my friends. And
Okay.
it's right here next to me, but I built it, and I actually made a mast specifically for the bicycle. So
Wow.
yeah, I'll show it to you before we leave. Just make sure you
Okay.
remind me. Just make sure you remind me.
I'm not gonna forget. I want it because I want to see it. I'm like, you like I remember. So here's another fun fact for people
Yeah.
to bring them into our world with us. So we came to Atlanta. Swift and I came to Atlanta a couple years back, and I was like, Benny, you in town? Because every time we come to Atlanta, I'm always texting you like, yo, you in
Right, yeah,
town? And
yeah.
you always on the other side of the earth, right? You like, oh
Right.
no, we overseas, we're this, we're that. I'm like, he ain't never home. So
Yeah.
this one time we came, you like, I'm in the city. I'm like, oh shit, let's connect. And so you took us to your studio.
Yeah.
And we got to see you in that element, right?
Right.
And I remember, I'm like, so you making beats too? I'm like, okay, what you
Yeah, man.
don't do, right?
Yeah, man. I did a track on the first two AKON albums. You know what I mean? So I produced for Rock City, I produced
Yeah.
for Savage out in New Zealand. I've done production for quite a few people, so I did stuff and then fell back from it, and then this came back to doing more stuff, and then I scored some of my own films, doing all the music in it, and then I fell back from producing again,
Yeah.
and then Rock City, our city, they decided that they wanted to put together a new album, and they were adamant that they were not going to finish out their album until I produced something on it. So I ended
Yeah.
up doing four records on their new album that we're about to present to the world.
So I remember the last time you was on here, you said that I could get an interview with Rock City.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
So you're gonna have to come back and bring Rock City on. But
Yeah.
to step into a serious moment, because I get excited when I talk with you. I love and we tap in from time to time. I might shoot a text like, yo, how you doing? Everything good?
Right, yeah.
And I think one time you were on set. I was like, what? You was like, yeah, I'm on set right now. I'm like, oh, my bad. I'm like, okay, it's all good. It's all good. So it's like you're always moving and doing some things,
right?
Staying very relevant in this industry and tapping into so much,
Right.
and still finding time to give back, still balancing out. I'm loving watching you guys put your home together. I'm just like living vicariously through you guys. Like, oh, hi, that looks dope. And so it's like I'm just keeping up with everything. And you haven't missed a beat. And that's one thing I love about you. You haven't missed a beat. You're in tune with everything that you connect with. And in the midst, before we were able to connect tonight, when we were having technical difficulties, I was telling people like everything you kind of do, you do seriously, but you have fun. You know how to have fun with stuff. But I believe that when you get involved, you give it your all.
Oh, 100%. That's the only way I feel is the way to go, and especially with my name and my brand, people expect a certain level of, the thing that I bring, if my name is on it. So I try my best to make sure that that's up to standards to the people, you know what I mean? So I don't want to give anyone anything lackluster. I just want to be able to give it my all. And once I start concentrating on something, I'm an Aries. So,
God.
As soon as my concentration starts, then, I'm in there.
So let me ask you, you've been AKON's DJ for a little over 18 years.
19 years now. This is our 19th year.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Wow. That's a long time.
I know.
And, and I say that because sometimes, and I know you've also been the official DJ for First Lady of Rough Riders, Eve.
Yes, I DJed for Eve for 3 years.
Yeah.
And, of course, and then, of course, TLC.
I know.
Yeah, I DJed for TLC for 4 years.
Yeah.
So that was pretty neat.
Yeah. And to see 18 years ago, like I was even looking at some pictures from before. I'm like, when I met you, I remember your mohawk. You didn't have the color. It wasn't purple, and it was so tall
I know.
and so spiky. And I'm thinking, like,
Yeah.
how are you getting in the cars and stuff with that? That's what I was thinking when I first met you. But over the years, with music, with artists, with other DJs, what has stood out the most to you that you see, one, has changed for the better, two, you feel like we got away from?
Um. Well, what I can say is the new era now is all about social media.
Yeah.
So, and then in the DJ world, because when I first started, we were still on vinyl records,
Right.
right? Then we started getting into the electronic side of things with the Serato and the, um, all the music being in the computers and your, the CDJs and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So what I have seen change over the years is the accessibility to calling yourself a DJ, just
Mm.
being able to sometimes just have music and press play, that has made people consider themselves a DJ. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that was always kind of weird for me for a while, as I seen the transition of that type of thing start happening. That was really weird. And then of course with the social media era um, now everyone has their own voice.
Yes.
So now you don't even have to wait on someone to crown you a DJ. You can crown yourself a DJ and put it out there on social media and keep saying it. And, with you having more and more followers, the more and more that you say a thing, it becomes believable,
Mm.
So I think for a while that was something that I just had to adjust to and get used to because, of course, it kind of offended me in the beginnings, especially when I knew someone wasn't putting the time in to be able to do the work, but then
Yeah.
they were just considering themselves what I am and what I had to work for a long time to become.
Yeah.
Um, but again, everything changes with the times, so you learn how to adapt, and you either ride with it or you fall back from it. And
Mhm.
sometimes I choose to fall back from it or, move in another direction. And which is why I think lately I haven't been so active on social media,
Yeah.
just because I feel like sometimes the things that people look for on social media is just, it can be really superficial, right? And I never want to
Mm.
fall into the superficial category of a thing,
Right.
So over the past 2 years during the pandemic and everything, I've been out doing shows,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
I haven't really posted the shows that I've been doing
Yeah.
because I just feel like, it was something that I want to come with something new. If there's something new that I can present, then yeah, I could show that. But I'm not every day going to be on stage and showing myself every day on stage. Then to me, it kind of becomes like you're just rubbing it in someone's face. Saying,
Ah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
that's just me. That's
That's
the way
I
I
got
look
it.
at things. Yeah, I look at
Yeah.
life in that type of a way. So I rather not do that type of thing. When I have something new to present, then I would showcase that. But outside of that, then I'm always like, yeah, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? I don't want to constantly keep doing the same thing that to me could feel or look a little bit redundant.
Interesting. And for someone like myself, to be tapping into podcasting, there's a million and one podcast shows, right?
Yes.
Everybody has a podcast.
Mhm.
Um, when the idea came that I wanted to podcast and I want, like tap into that, I was like, it's oversaturated. What's gonna make me stand out from everybody else's podcast? Why would you choose to come on my show? But one thing I've learned, a lot of people have said, is that one, some of the questions I have, like some people are like, I haven't been asked that before. And
Yeah.
so I do my homework, right? I do
Yeah.
my homework. Um, First of all, if I reach out to you, because I would think that you have a lot to offer people. It's not just about TT. So it's not like
Right.
I could just call some people and say, hey, I just want to kick it with you. I don't need to
Mhm.
have a platform for that. But if I bring somebody to the show, it's because you have a lot to give.
Yeah.
There's somebody I believe that can learn from you, get inspired by you, be motivated by you, or encouraged by you.
Right.
We all had to start somewhere. Like I learned from our last interview a lot. Like and I'm not gonna do what I did to last time because listen, y'all, let me tell y'all over in Instagram world too. So I kidnapped Benny D. We did an interview almost 2 hours.
Yep, we sure did. Yeah.
I was like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He was like, it's all good, sis. I'm like, no, because like, I don't know what you had to, I think you had to go shoot that day too. Like, I feel so bad because we just got in the zone. And I'm like, the comfortability that I can give to my guests, but also the guest gives back to me is that energy. And then when I get people that might DM me or email me and say, hey, that show was, I needed to hear that, or like, could you bring them back again? And it was just like, a lot of people love your accent. So that was one thing. People are like, oh, I just love his accent. I'm like, yeah, it's real. It's not make believe. It's real. That's
yeah.
Like, that's authentic. And so, in this industry, to see you stand afloat, and I know you don't post like that, but please understand, your fans do. That's how I've been able to keep up with all the stuff you're not posting. Other people are posting it. And when you have someone that you respect, you appreciate their craft, you're like, let me show you, I was at this concert and so did this. And you may not even know it's out there because people are just living in the moment. And what you do every time you hit the stage, no matter what a man, woman, boy, or girl is going through, there's power in music. Music is a beautiful remedy to help people sometimes deal with everyday trauma or escape something they're dealing with. And if I can come to an AKON Benny D show and then even meeting you, like, the way you are, I feel, and this is me just assuming, and I think this is a very good assumption, the comfort level that you gave me years ago, which allowed me to stay connected and to tap in, like, the comfort, like, I can just reach out to Benny D and see what's up with him. If we're in the same town, let's connect. You opened that door for me. You made me feel like this wasn't, even though initially, because I always tell people your gift will make room for you, even though it was business when we initially met, but then it's like a friendship manifested because it was just like, I was intrigued. Swift, like, that's my friend. That's my homeboy. Like, I got love for Benny D. He like, I'm gonna get on one of his, I'm gonna have him make me a beat one of these days. I'm gonna get one of Benny D beats, And so it's like, you see that. And then when you go out and you perform and people are recording that, that's something they hold on to. They can live in that moment over and over and over again.
Yeah, I see it. I see it. I see. I have some fans from different places like Brazil or Kazakhstan. Where they man, every year they make sure they say something for my birthday. They're always reposting, some of the videos from our performance. And I mean, this is years ago, but they're holding on to that.
Yeah.
Just hoping to get a like, or to get a response, or just being happy to even be able to say happy birthday or hello to me or to anybody else that they're a fan of, So I don't take that too lightly, I mean, I understand that this is the world that we're living in, and I appreciate all of the fans all the time, But again, for me, the main thing is just respect. I just give respect to people, and in return, I get it back. And I've just always felt like, okay, I'm talented in this thing, sure, but I'm not that thing 24/7. You know what I mean? So there's no reason why I can't go out there and perform at a high level, but then get off stage and have a proper conversation with you, in which could have nothing at all to do with what I just did on stage. That's my job.
Yeah.
Someone working at McDonald's, they're not coming back home every day like, man, you should have seen what, the way I flipped them burgers today, or, they're not coming home doing that. So that's the way that I look at the way I perform. It's like I went on stage and I did my performance, and now the job is done.
Right.
Now we can go get something to eat. Now we can go talk about, yo, did you see that thing on TV last night? Or, whatever the other thing is that we do, this is, I so much enjoy that when I meet other entertainers, when we have conversations that's that has nothing to do with music.
Right.
Or when I'm with my actor friends and it has nothing to do with acting, and we're
Yeah.
just talking about a whole other thing. You know what I mean? I appreciate those type of conversations so much more.
Right.
So that's
Right.
when you become genuine with someone, and the friendship can really grow from those type of things.
Yeah, I can agree with that. A lot of our friends over the years that we've made friends with, we've met them in the industry, and so like I said, and you meet somebody in this business, but then there's a connection.
Right.
There's a like mindedness that you share, and though you guys, like for instance, you're in the music industry, Swift's in the music industry, you both know what it's like to be on that stage in two different capacities, yet one and the same.
Right.
You both toured the world, and at the same time, you both are actors. You both can sit down and have conversations about all type of things, not just about the music, not just about being an actor, entrepreneur, being a father,
Right. Yeah.
being a black man, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of levels to that. What I can appreciate is that, like, I know the backstory to how you became the tour manager to our city, but what made you tap into management? Because you got your plate full, like your
Yeah.
plate full. You got a pan, you got stuff in the oven, you got a lot going on. So,
Right.
what made you want to tap into being a manager?
I just think that over my years of being on the road and just learning from the road managers that AKON has had, um, I just felt like I wanted to bring that knowledge to some of the younger artists,
Okay.
right? Or
Yeah.
to artists that I felt like weren't getting a fair deal, because I see the way promoters or people have treated AKON, and I'm like,
Yeah.
man, if I can get people to start treating these artists in that particular manner, okay, you're not AKON, but at least I know what the right things are. I know what the right things um, that you need to have in your technical writer, in your contract. I was seeing all of these things over the years. So I initially wanted to just help our city,
Right.
right? But I guess I ended up, like I say again, when I concentrate on something,
Yeah.
I give so much of myself, and I really go in for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess once I started with them, I was doing such an amazing job at it. And then every time we did a show, it felt like I was getting better and better. Just at the road management side, I was only doing the road management side, in which, of course, with our city, it happened by default because
Yeah.
they ended up firing their road manager, and they had shows already booked. So I had to step in. They asked me to step in just to finish out those shows that they already had booked. And then I stepped into and changed up all kinds of stuff that I was like,
Yeah.
man, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. We
Yeah.
got to clean this up. Once that started to happen, then I really started to get a better feel for it. I started to feel more comfy in the position.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then while just doing it for our city, other people started taking notice. So then for Simmons comes in, and for Simmons is like, man, Benny, you might as well just start road managing for me. And I'm like, sure, of course, your home team,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then as time went along, he ends up with an artist, a new amazing artist named Jada Kingdom from
Yep.
Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
And he told her, once she got rid of her road management, he was like, oh, hold up, I have the exact perfect person for you. And he gave me the call. I went over to the house. I met her. We had our conversations. I said, okay, before you even say, yes, you got the job, or no, you don't have the job, let me at least see where you're at. Let me see your contract. Let me see what your technical writer looks like. Let me see how you conduct your business,
Yeah.
right? Because at
Yeah.
the end of the day, the one thing that I want people to know or have the knowledge of or be on top of is their business, right? So,
Mhm.
too many times in the industry, as you see, we're in it for so long, you see so many people get jerked over,
Yep.
or you know what I mean? And
Yep.
I'm like, I don't like that. I do not like that people, promoters, treat artists in that type of manner, or whatever is the case. So I stepped in and was like, yeah, I need to see how your business is being conducted. Once I seen what she had, I start saying, man, listen, this is set up for you to fail completely,
Wow.
right? I say,
Wow.
yeah, I say, man, all of these things here, here, here. I start pointing them out are red flags. You know what I mean? You're set up for someone to steal from you.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's the way I see it. And mind you, I'm not working for her or nothing. This is just our first initial meeting,
Wow.
right?
Okay.
Yeah, people tell me all the time I'm too honest and I'm too blunt. But I'm like, man, sometimes we need a little bit of that. You
Yes,
know
we
what I
do. A
mean?
lot of it. A lot of
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So once I pointed out all of these different things that were wrong that I seen, she decided to call her manager and question it.
Mm.
And the
Rightfully
manager
so.
started to, like, it's almost like a stuttering moment. Like, wait. Why are you asking these questions? Who's making you ask these questions?
Oh.
And her response is, "But is it right? Am I saying the right thing though?" It's like, well, yeah, but
See.
you know what I mean. And
See.
then that just turned into her getting better with her business also.
Yeah.
Her now being informed.
Yeah.
Because sometimes artists don't know, and that's where I stepped in. That's what made me really want to do more on the management side of things, is because I wanted these artists to know and understand. I hate when somebody says, "Oh no, I'll just handle it. Just let me handle it. You
Yeah.
worry about being an artist." No, man, that's not the way
Yeah.
that it goes, because manager works for the artist,
That's right.
right?
That's right. That's
So
right.
yeah, and you don't want to work for someone that doesn't know their business. So it's better that you teach them what they're supposed to know. Then they can say, okay, you can go and handle it now. At least I know what's going on.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And
That's
that's
right.
all I want to do with any artist that I work with, um, is for them to know what's going on, so that nobody can pull the wool over their eyes or try to steal monies from them or any of that type of stuff. I want them to be in their business because it is their business. You
Wow.
know what I mean? Yeah. So as time went along, man, I just started getting better and better at the management, at the road management side of things. And then, of course, naturally, once you start doing one thing,
Yep.
it transitions into a whole other thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now I've started doing the bookings. So I've now
Mm.
become the booking agent for a lot of the artists that I'm dealing with. So I'm not only the road manager, but I'm also the booking agent. So when you want to book these artists,
Yeah.
then you have to talk to Benny D, and
Oh.
I do all the negotiating and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
really fun and cool just being able to negotiate for my friends or
Yeah.
for these people, um, and make sure that they're good, that they're correct with the business that they're doing, and that they're treated correctly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes, you got a promoter that put you on Spirit Airlines real fast. And
And you know how spirit can be. It give you a spirit. So,
no, I do not. I don't know how Spirit can be, because you could never put me on Spirit. Never, ever, ever in life. And I always tell people, I say, man, listen, one thing I'm gonna tell you when I come into to working with you is I will never have a promoter do to you what I know they can't do to me.
Got you. Got
Now,
you.
you may not be on my level as DJ Benny D or Benny Demus for whatever it is that I'm doing, but I also know that I won't allow a promoter to just mishandle you in any
Nice.
kind of way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
go to bat for the artists that I'm working for and with. And promoters, they have such a respect for me, because some of them, they're even like, man, you're really thorough with your business. Like, there's no shaking you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So, and that's all I want. I just want them to have the same respect for me that I'm gonna give to them.
Yeah.
And I'm personable, and
Yep.
I have good conversations with the promoters, and I tell them, man, listen, just keep it business. Just respect the business that we're doing first of all,
Yeah.
and then we can talk about all kind of other stuff after.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
respect the business, because I work for someone and I have to report to them.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And I'm not going to them with any nonsense that you're coming to me with. You know what I mean? I try to get rid of all the problems before I come to the artist. You know.
So with that being said, let me ask you this. So if somebody wanted to reach out to you, are you accepting artists? Can an artist say, hey, Benny, I see what you're doing with this person, that person, and I'm doing this, and I want to know if you would, be my role manager or my tour manager or my booking agent. Do you accept people like that, or do you just say, you know what, I'm picking and choosing the type of artist or the type of people I choose to work with?
Well, sure, I do pick and choose who I want to work with, but yeah, anyone that wants to hire me for the specific job, um, I'm open and willing. But of course, I'm gonna have some pointers or some standards that I go for.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if that can't be met, then okay, then I understand. We're not going to be able to work together at this time.
Yeah.
Maybe later on in the future. But there's just certain things that I look for, and if I feel like an artist isn't mentally there,
Yeah.
then nah, you don't have to. You don't have to be there financially, but you got to be there mentally. I'm willing to be there mentally, because when I come into a situation, I'm possibly going to rearrange the way that you thought you were doing good business or proper business. And if I see
Mm.
something, and that's the thing, a lot of people are not interested in seeing their faults,
Mm.
because it's not just a promoter that's at fault for certain things. Sometimes the artist is at fault, and sometimes the artist let things get by or go by that I wouldn't let happen. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So sometimes they don't want to hear the truth in their faces either.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna get
Yeah.
that from me. I'm way too outspoken for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think in this game, what I've learned, um, tapping into different things. Like another fun fact, when we came down to Atlanta and Dog Pound was they doing a movie or was it a video? You
I
remember?
Yeah, I think it was a music video that was being done by
Uh
what,
Corrupt. Wasn't it Corrupt?
but it was Corrupt, and what's the producer one name?
Uh
Snoop's cousin.
yeah, yeah.
Daz.
That's
Daz.
right.
Yes. Yeah.
So I remember we were coming down there, and then I don't know how I linked up, and they were they were shooting a video. So I was like, I'm about to reach out to them. So I reached out. I was like, this is Swifty's assistant, because I wasn't married to him or any of that then. And I said, he's going to be in Atlanta, and I wanted to see if it'd be cool he stopped through. And they was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So then I was like, okay. So then I was like, I knew you act. So I was like, well, also, what about I have somebody else who's an actor that, like they're cool if he come, and they were like, well, who? I was like, AKON's DJ Benny Demus. And they're like, yeah, it's all love. So then I remember I was like, hey, Benny, you want to go do this video shoot? And so we went, and that was a lot of fun. But what I learned is that I like to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so I linked up, and I started working for Benjamin Entertainment Group as an artist assistant.
Yeah.
And so I learned about writers and things like that. And I remember the very first time I went out with the artist Christina Benjamin, and her manager couldn't go. So he said, well, TT, you're going to go, and they need to have everything that's in this writer. I need you also, as the people say today's time, I need you to collect the bag, right? And so he was like, I need you to get the payment before she hit a stage. She has to do this, that, and the third. If she does not, they still have to pay her, and then you walk. I'm like, okay. So when we got there, we were there early, and I felt like, oh, this is my big first time going out. Like, I felt like, okay, they trusted me to do this. And we got there. These people were late. And I'm like, oh, and then I'm like, she has to have a sound check. No sound, it's in the rider, it's in the agreement. So
Yeah,
if
man.
no sound check, no performance, and you still got to pay her. So I was sitting there and I was looking at the clock. I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh my God, because if they don't do this, we gonna walk. So I was like, okay, let me calm down, let me go. So when they came, the band was all taking all day. I'm looking at them like, y'all unprofessional. And so it was just like, oh. And I talked to the person. I said, listen, I said, you guys, are late. You're 30 minutes late. I said, the house is open. The artist didn't get a sound check. And according to the writer, she's not performing. And I still need to collect her payment because she showed up. She honored her part of the bargain. Right. And they're like, yeah, we understand. And I said, I understand that. But yeah, unfortunately, no. And so they're like, well, can you call, Courtney? I'm like, no, I cannot. I said, I'm Courtney's assistant. And I already know the answer. So I won't call him. There's no room this is a binding contract we have, right? Yeah. So they're like, oh, okay. And then it's like to the artist, like, can I talk to you for a second? And I looked at her because the lady back was to me. I was looking at the artist like, I don't care what she say to you. You're not doing it, right? And so she went over there. She's like, I apologize. I'm wondering it. And she's like, yeah, but unfortunately. So I went to the lady and I said, you know what? I'll tell you what, maybe the next time moving forward in the future, if she's available and you guys want her to come out and actually be able to perform and everything lines up, then that would be perfect. And when we left, we got in a parking lot, Benny D. It was funny. Like me and her both screamed like, I can't believe you just did that. I was like, I wasn't getting fired on my first day out by myself. You're not going to say, my God, I gave you one assignment and you didn't, and I said, if you trust me to know what I'm doing and you tell me what it is, I'm not going to go. If you say, hey, TT, you need to do this, I need the artist to have that. Okay. And they come, I'm like, no. I'm not going to say, well, let me call Benny. I already understand. No, that's not where I'm going to be professional because I understand I'm representing your brand and this is your business, but you're trusting me.
Of course.
And, and so over the years, I started working for more and more artists. But what I learned, and you could tell me if you've come into this as a manager, some artists want this whole entourage or this whole look. Like I need a manager, I need an assistant, I need a this, I need a that. And then sometimes I look at their package, I'm thinking like, really, you don't? You don't. Right. You might need a little help pushing you, but you don't need to be, because you got to pay for these services.
Right. You got to pay for all of that type of stuff too. And then I always tell people, man, if your performance fee doesn't match what you're asking for, it doesn't work.
Ooh, say that again, Benny. What you say?
Yeah, if your performance fee doesn't match, the look of everything that you're asking for, it's not going to work. You can't say, okay, I got 5 people flying. I need all 5 of them in business class, right? But your performance fee is $2,500.
Okay, no. Like,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So those type of things are the signs of people that don't know what they're doing. So, that's how you start. And then there's some artists that I come into or that I meet that would have these weird things in their technical writer or in their contract. And I'd be like, yo, promoters are always going to treat you like a joke, right? Because they can tell from what they're reading or what they're looking at that you have no clue what you're doing. But, no clue. And they can sniff that out really easy, and that's when they end up starting to bend things this way, bend things that way to try to get the most out of you, or whatever is the case. Sometimes I've met artists who've told me, they still perform and then get paid, and I'm like, you did what?
Oh wow!
You did the performance and then you went looking for your payment?
No.
Yeah, no, that doesn't happen in my world at all.
No. Like, and even in my little bitty world, it don't happen. It's like, no.
You know what I'm saying? But, but you would be surprised by how many artists still do that, and how many promoters will get ghost and you will not see them.
Wow.
So, those type of things, man, is just, it's just learning moments. You hope that an artist can learn, and then some of them don't learn. So this is why I was saying, me working with someone that wants me to come in to become road management or booking agent or any of that type of stuff, I have to see where you're at with it, because some people, you would teach them something,
Yeah.
but then they decide to still dismiss it.
Mhm.
They don't care about it or whatever is the case. I can't work like that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I
Right.
have to be able to say what I can or can't do, and if the artist isn't trying to grow with that type of stuff, or respect my level of expertise that I'm bringing to the table, then it's not a good working environment for me.
I hear that. I hear that. And
Yeah.
I respect that. And I think, like I said, this is good food for artists. This is good food for managers and producers and different people, because I'm sure they can understand it. I do have to ask you this, and
Sure,
this is on the learning curve,
sure.
and you spiked this. So what's something you would look at a technical writer and say, absolutely not, that if a promoter saw it, they would say, oh, I can get over on them? What's one thing that would be a flag to you that would say, oh yeah, no, take that out?
On a technical writer or on
Both contract and a technical writer.
yeah, well, contractually, like I said, the numbers that I just now mentioned,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
when you're asking for something, flights or hotel wise, that's not a match with what your fee is,
Okay.
right? Um, then you have some people that would ask for. So let me think on in the technical writer side of things. I'm trying to
Okay.
think on what could be a red flag for someone. Like one artist that I worked with, in their technical writer, as far as what they needed to perform with, it said number one, microphone. Number two, stage speakers. And then that was it.
Oh wow.
So it never mentioned what type of stage you needed. It never mentioned what type of microphone you needed. It never mentioned anything about your DJ's equipment that he needs. It never mentioned any of that type of stuff. So if you come to the venue now and the promoter decides to hand you a microphone from Fisher Price, you know, contractually, there's nothing you can say.
Wow.
You can't stand there like, yo, what's this nonsense? Is
Yeah.
this a joke? If they decide to put you on a karaoke machine,
You got your
that,
speaker and your mic. I
and your
can't.
mic, you see what I'm saying? So these
Wow.
are terms that they overlook.
Yeah.
I felt like the artist was overlooking at the time. Like, you're overlooking this type of stuff just because you go there and you're like, yeah, just put me on the stage.
Right.
Nah, buddy, that's not the way
Yeah.
I go. You
Wow.
know what I mean?
Wow.
So
Wow.
things like that, a promoter can easily get over on you by not providing you with the proper things that you need. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then you may they may not. You might just put drinks. If you just put drinks, they might give you a bottle of water.
Yeah. Yeah. You do have
You know
to.
what I'm saying?
I've learned that you do have to be specific about certain things like
Yeah,
that.
and be more specific
Yeah.
than be more specific about things than what you even need sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And then let the negotiations begin.
Right.
Let's take this out, let's take that out. Some people might say they want or need Louis the 13th.
Aye.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Okay.
you know,
Like
you're
wow.
not you're probably not gonna get that unless
No,
you're on a
probably
particular
not.
level.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Unless
Exactly. Exactly.
unless you're on a particular level, you're not gonna get that type of thing.
Right.
But
Right.
sometimes they just heard it in a song.
Yeah.
So now
Yeah.
they want it on their technical writer. It's like that right there is costing more than your fee.
There you go. That part. Yeah. And it's not free. Yeah, it's not
Right,
free.
yeah.
So I have to ask you with and we tapped in really quickly about Illuminate the bike ride. What
Yeah.
about your kickball carnival? I'm interested in that. What is
The
that about?
carnival kickball game.
Yeah.
So every year for Carnival, Carnival is the last week of April in St. Thomas.
Okay.
So every year for the Carnival, I put on this huge kickball game, where I invite all the musicians, a lot of musicians from the island, professional people like senators, firemen, policemen, doctors, teachers, um, and then popular people from the neighborhoods. And I
Okay.
put them all on two teams. And the audience, the Virgin Islands audience, they just come and spectate. You know what I mean? And
Okay.
what I do with that is, again, a fun family event where you can come and watch some of your favorite people from the Virgin Islands performing, playing a game of kickball. So we're letting our hair down. You
Okay.
know what I mean? A lot of fun, a lot of jokes, a lot of smiles. And what I started doing is donating money to nonprofit organizations in the Virgin Islands,
Okay.
right? So every year I would just pick two new nonprofit organizations, and I would come up with a certain amount of money that's been donated, or whatever we put into the pot, and the winning team will get more of the money for their nonprofit organization that they pick, and the losing team still gets some money for the nonprofit organization that they picked. you
Okay.
know and again,
Okay.
these are just ways to, one, bring the community together,
Mm-hmm.
two, keep supporting our nonprofit organizations on island, and three, just really making sure that the community can see that these people who are supposed to be our more popular or most notable people from the islands, that
Right.
we all can come together for a common cause.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's really what I want to make sure, that even the kids are inspired by seeing,
Yeah.
all of us professionals coming together to play this fun kids game, really. But the real goal at the end of it is being able to give back to the community where you live.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, and
Yeah.
just keep things really moving for the next generation. Because it's really not about us. We've already had our time. You know what I mean? We're just trying to find a slick way to give money away to
Yeah.
these people, and help them to keep going.
Gotcha. Yeah. I can. When I saw it, I was like, I want to ask him about that, and I'm like, I've
Yeah.
always wanted to go visit the VI, and so,
And this year is our 70th carnival, so
wow.
yeah, it's gonna be even bigger this year, because normally the kickball game is just two teams that
Yeah.
playing against each other. So it's just one game. We play one game, um, and we have hundreds upon hundreds of spectators that come out. This year, I'm planning to do four teams,
Okay.
right? Four
Okay.
teams, three games. So
Okay.
I have two teams play for the winner, two other teams play for the winner, and then those two winning teams will play for the championship, right?
Okay.
And
Okay.
so just finding ways to be able to expand it, because every time we did it for the 1 hour that we played for, the spectators are always like, "Man, is it over already?" You know what I mean?
Right.
They always
Because
wanted
they're
to
having
prolong it.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're having an amazing time.
you're bringing something. So let me ask you this:
Yeah,
you do those two big events there every year.
yeah, yeah.
Are those two of the biggest events that happens in the VI?
I wouldn't say they're two of the biggest, but they're very notable,
Okay.
because our biggest events that we have in the Virgin Islands is our carnival.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, so the carnival itself is the biggest thing that we have.
Okay.
But now, so the kickball game happens during carnival.
Okay. That's a good
You know what I
time.
mean? Right. So it
Yeah.
allows it to be this even bigger event now, because aside from all the carnival stuff that's going on, we have this extra thing now. You know
Right.
what I mean? That people look forward to, and which is the kickball game. Um, and we live stream it all the time too. So even this year, for anyone around the world, the live stream will be up, that people can watch it live, right? Then
Okay.
with the bike ride is, it's big, but it's not as big as I want it to be, like how they are in Atlanta. Like in Atlanta, the bike ride that I see here, the nighttime bike ride is like 10,000 strong.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They got like either 10,000 or over 10,000 bike riders for their bike ride. So,
Okay.
I want to eventually get to that. I'm not sure if our island is ready for it because it's so small, but I'm willing to try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I like
Yeah, man. The
that.
last one that we just did in December, our governor of the Virgin Islands, he came out and rode.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He brought out his bike, and of course, all the Secret Service was around riding their bikes
I'm
also.
sure they were. I'm sure they were. I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah. You
sure.
know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it was such an amazing event. They had such a good time. And I brought that one over to St. Croix. So I'm
I
from
saw
St.
that.
Thomas. So
Yeah.
majority of my stuff was always done in St. Thomas. But now, because they're getting so big, they're spilling on over to St. Croix now. You know what I mean?
I saw you do an interview and they were talking about that. And then during that interview, I think when you gave that particular interview, it was closed. Like
Yeah,
there was no
yeah,
more signing up. It was like, oh, and the lady seemed like she was kind of like, oh no, I wanted to do it.
yeah, yeah.
If you are not from there and you're not going to be able to make it there, if you wanted to donate a bike and send it, can people do that?
Of course, 100%.
Now, how do
Yeah.
you do that? If you want to donate a bike, how do
Mhm.
they do that?
Well, what if you're not fond of it, like people in America,
Yes.
they would just send the bike to me
Okay.
here in Atlanta, and then from Atlanta, because I purchased a bunch of bicycles here myself, and then I ship it down.
Okay.
So
Okay.
there's up to a certain point in time when I have to cut it off, because then I have to go and get everything ready for shipping. And
Mhm.
shipping sometimes, because it goes down by boat, it can take 3 weeks to a month
Oh, wow.
to arrive. So I cut
Wow.
off everything a month before the bike ride.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I've had people do that already for the bicycle ride. They send me some bicycles, and I just go get them wrapped up and everything and shipped down, and
So
then we donate
when
them.
do you start accepting the bike donations?
As soon as I start announcing that whenever the next one is, like, okay, so next one is for St. Thomas is going to be in July.
Okay. Okay.
So right now I'm in the kickball mode because I'm gearing up for kickball at the ending of April.
Right.
And then as soon as April is finished, by the middle of May or the beginning of June is when I'm gonna be starting getting on the bike ride stuff. So
Okay.
matter of fact, I might be ending up like right in the beginning of May this year,
Okay.
because I know that it's growing so much more. So it'll be right from the kickball game right into Luminate. I'll be getting ready. So,
And I'm asking because what I would
Mhm.
like to do,
Sure.
I want to, and I'll reach out to you after
Yeah.
to have you come back right in the midst of you starting that, so we could talk about how people can do that.
Sure.
That they can vicariously see it, and then it's kind of like, well, you might not have been able to go over there for it, but you could donate, and it'll be live stream,
Sure.
right? And you'll be
Sure.
able to say, "Hey, that's the bike I sent over there."
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
for
man.
somebody like us, like I would like to have a TT from the D podcast bike put out,
Yeah.
so
Sure.
it gives
We
me a
do that
reason to
too.
travel.
Yeah,
Come
we
to
do that
Atlanta.
too. Like the one that we just did in St. Croix, there was a Gatorade bicycle. There was an Aquafina bicycle. There was a Michelob Ultra bicycle, a Pepsi bicycle also.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So yeah, man. So
Okay.
there
Okay.
could be a TT from the D
Hey,
bicycle. You know what I mean? And I will get your logo stenciled, and
yeah.
we will put it onto the bicycle. So forever, whoever gets that bicycle, they
Aw.
would know that it came from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So yeah,
Oh yeah, I want to
those are
do
really
that.
cool things. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
something
down
I
for
want to
that.
do. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I want to coordinate that. I would love to do that. Like people always look for ways to give back. And growing up being a kid, and I'm gonna be transparent for those that want to try to say something, but growing up being a kid, I used to watch, like I was a tomboy. And
Yeah.
so the boys be building those ramps with the milk crates and the board, and right. So I'd be like, I want to ride. My mom used to be like, girls don't ride bikes like that. Stop trying to act like a little boy or whatever. So I was sneaking hop on my friends' bikes and ride it. And I always was like, my mom was like, I'll buy you a bike. She wanted to buy me a 10-speed. I'm like, I want a dirt bike, right? She's like, girls don't ride dirt bikes. And I'm like, well, I want a dirt bike, right? And so I remember her friend said they needed to make us a little extra money. And she said, I got to sell my son's bike. And so I was like, oh. I said, Ma, can you buy me the bike? She's like, it's for boys. I was like, no, girls ride the bikes. I was like, I've been riding the bike. And so she was like, okay, she bought it for me. Okay. And it was my very first bike, right? Unfortunately, I was hard-headed. I left the block. My mom said, don't leave the block. Don't ride past, I'm a girl. And the boys are like, we're riding around in the hood. Yeah, and I'm like, I want to go. And they're like, your mom not going to let you go. I'm like, I'm just going to go. And so I got off the block and I fell behind. And this white van, I'll never forget it, with these two Caucasian guys have been following us for a while. And I fell behind, like everybody was ahead of me. And they started speeding up. And like I was moving over to get out the way. And then they moved over. So then I moved back. And then they started speeding up more. And I started going fast on my bike. And I slid. And I got 2 scars on my hands right here. You can't see them really good. Yeah. I went under the back of a car. And they got out the van. Now, I thought they was about to take me. They took my bike.
Took your bike.
They took my bike. And that was a traumatic thing because I was so afraid. First of all, I was not on my block. The boys had been ahead. They didn't know what had happened back there. And they just pulled off. And I had to walk back home and crying. And I was so shaken up. My mother said, what's wrong? And I told her. So like I got in trouble. And then we called the police. The police like, well, they're long gone or whatever. Right, yeah. But that was, my mom was like, I'm never buying you a bike again. And that was the only bike I ever was bought.
Wow.
Benny, let me tell you something. I just bought a bike. I'm 46.
Yeah.
I just bought a bike so I could ride with Cody last summer.
Wow.
Right?
For the first time since that time.
Since that time. Wow. Yeah. So me saying that story was like, there's kids and young people that maybe can't afford a bike or will have a bike, but like a nicer bike, a newer bike, and be able to ride in their neighborhood or ride and be a part of this program, Luminate, that you're doing. So for people like myself who can't go out there or may not be able to go out there, we still can give. We just not there, but we can say, hey, we're sending this bike to Benny Demus and his crew. They're going to take this bikes over there. And then you're providing a live stream. So then in turn, we can say, I saw the bike that it's kind of like, you gave.
Yeah, 100%. And, there's so many kids that don't have a bike in the islands.
Yeah.
So when we came bearing gifts, with all of those bicycles, and they were like, man, what do we have to pay to get the bike? And I'm like, no, you don't pay. Just take a ticket number. Yeah. And if I call your number, you get a free bike, right?
Yeah.
So people were just taking tickets like crazy. Yeah. And the coolest thing that I could say, really and truly, is for people that don't have a bicycle were the ones that were to take the tickets. But then you had people who took tickets and still had bikes, and then they won.
Wow.
And the coolest thing that they did, when they won, they were like, I already have a bicycle, so I want to give this bike away to that person.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they were just like, that person, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was like, man, and then next thing you know, you found some kids that were winning that had a bicycle. They were doing the same thing. They were like, oh, I already have a bike, so I want to give my bike away to that kid.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Nice.
So it was like, it was an immediate thing of where you can see how just by them seeing the adults doing this thing, they started to do it too. They started being kind and giving and saying, man, I already have a bicycle, so I want to give this bicycle away to somebody else that doesn't have a bike. You know what I mean? So this is the things that we try to do, is try to get into these kids' minds and hopefully get them to start just being more loving and caring to their community, to people in the community, because they don't know everybody that was out there with their bikes or that was at the bike ride. So, but that they're part of your community.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So when you start thinking about just being more giving, you will end up receiving a whole bunch more too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Using that method of paying it forward.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I like
saying? And
that.
hopefully not looking for anything to come back. You just want to give all the time. But then, that's just the way that it goes. Things come right back to you.
Yes, it does. Yes, it
Yeah.
does. It pays to be kind. It
Oh,
does.
there you
It
go.
really does.
Yeah.
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 Now I have to ask. This is my last question. And before we go, I want to see the bike and I want to see the mask you did. Okay. So
You're not letting that one go.
I ain't letting it go, player. Don't even try it. I'm not. So okay.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
prepping it. You prepping it. You getting ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get it ready. I'll have it
Okay.
ready.
Okay. So here's my question. I asked you this question our last interview, but it was such a profound answer you gave. I told Swift, I got to ask Benny this again because I want you to share it with the new eyes, the new listeners. When someone told you to be good enough to have a seat at the table, what did that mean?
To be good enough to have a seat at the table, man. That's you letting your talent speak for itself. That's you not having to brag on yourself to be able to get the accolades, and which is why I spoke about the social media thing, where it's a thing of people can big themselves up to look like there's something that they're not to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So I just rather let my talent speak for itself, as other people should allow their talents to speak for itself, so that you will in turn have people wanting you to be around them, wanting you to have that seat at the table with them. You know what I'm saying? Versus you trying to force your way in
That's
to a
good.
table that, you're probably not even of the level that someone is looking for or what they need, but you're trying your best to talk your way into something. You know what I'm saying? Just let your talent speak.
Yeah.
Like the one thing that I hate the most, and let me not say hate, but the one thing I hate the most, is just someone coming up to me telling me that they do music and they're the hottest thing out. So I'm like, wait, you're the hottest thing out and you're the one telling me that news? Ain't no way you're the hottest thing out. You see what I'm saying? If everybody else ain't coming around to tell me about you, ain't no way that you're the hottest thing out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that you put your best foot forward, be the best that you can be. And trust me, people will be calling you to come and have a seat at that table.
Amen.
That same table that you so badly want. And I'm going to tell you like this. A lot of times, though, them tables ain't what you think.
Oh. Yes.
Too many times, a lot of times, them tables ain't what you think. You might be fighting your whole life trying to get at this table. Man, I just have to. And then when you get there, you're like, man.
Yeah. You said that's a whole word, Benny.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, there was a time I wanted to work with somebody so bad, and I was like, I'm like, well, damn, I do what they do for a living, and the team they have, like, I know, like, I'd be good, and I don't understand, like, they always like when they see me, TT, I gotta work with you, we gotta connect, and I'm always looking like, okay, yeah, but you didn't call me. Mm-hmm. And so I used to be like, what? I would ask Swift, like, so you don't think I'm good enough to work with? He was like, I think you are. He was like, it's just, timing, or maybe it ain't meant for you. And but I really want to work with them. Like, I really wanted to. And then I would hear some stories and I would say, okay, that's why you did it. Because that won't work for my spirit. That won't work for
me. There you go. Sometimes they don't even have their stuff all together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it may look good from the outside, but then, on the inside, they themselves don't even have their stuff all the way put together.
No.
You know what I mean? So once you get to that table, then you're like, wait a minute, this is some nonsense over
Yes.
here.
Yes.
This is chaotic over here. This is
Toxic.
stressful and toxic
Yeah.
over here. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and you have to be able to understand that and see that real quick so you could get the hell on.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because sometimes you could be blinded by wanting to be in or with this thing so badly that, once you get there, no matter what happens, it's toxic as ever, but you're still staying there.
I did that already. That was my song and dance years ago. And it's like I'm a loyal person as well. So that was like my downfall. Like I know they might need me, so I don't want to just butt. And then once I got away from it, it was just kind of like why'd you stay so long? Like, why'd you deal
Right,
with
yeah.
that?
Yeah, man. Sometimes, you get into a situation and it feels trapping. It feels like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
have to be here. You have to stick with this thing. But, sometimes that table just ain't all it cracks up to be.
That's true.
So you have to be conscious in every which way. And what you really want is not just to have a seat at the table, but you want to have your own table. You want to create your own table, and that's where your talents is going to speak for itself. You creating your own table that you can have people coming to you. By then, you have a choice now. You can decide if you're going to continue with your own table or if you want to go over to their table, or, you want to mix and match, or, that type of stuff will happen. That's when you start having, different business entities, different business partners.
Yeah.
You got this business partner for this particular thing, or this business partner for this particular thing. You know what I mean? But you just got to take things as serious as it should be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Give it 110% every time. And it'll speak for itself. People will end up coming to you for whatever it is that your talent is or what they need. You know what I mean? And you'll be able to differentiate the nonsense from the good.
Amen to that. That's a word I could receive myself too. So thank you for that. Now,
You're welcome.
Imparting on this, because I'm gonna have you come back. Now I know.
No problem at all.
Okay.
No problem at all.
I want to see that mask. I want to see that bike.
Let me get this thing here together a
Yeah,
little bit.
do you?
But no, it's right here though. So let me see if I could turn it a bit. So it's a trike bike.
Oh, nice. You put that together?
Yep. So let me take it out here. It's a trike bicycle, 144 spoke wheels on it. Right.
Okay.
I sprayed the bike. People may think that it's black, but it's actually brown. But it's called.
I did think it was black. It's brown.
Yeah, the color is called black copper. So it's the same color as my truck.
Okay.
So in the light, when the sunlight shines on it, that's when you see the copper flakes and all that stuff in it. So I went and put on some mirrors on it, stuff like that. Yeah, I hit them with the skull handles. Stuff like that. And then let me slide her out, and I'll show you here. So this is just a cover for it. See this brown?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you can see I built this box on the back of it here.
Is that suede?
This is suede, yes.
At the front door.
This is suede, and you can see some of the glitter that's in there. I designed all of this here on the side. And this right here, you might be like, well, what is that?
I know. What does it look like? An antler. Okay, what is it?
Right. But it's actually a holder for my Bluetooth speaker.
Oh,
so that's
nice.
You're gonna ride, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then as we come down here. Yeah. So.
Did you do that one?
Yeah. I made it just for the bike.
That's dope, Benny.
just for the bike.
That's so dope.
Yeah, so it's like a copper color, you know what I'm saying?
How many stones is that?
So it actually takes me, um, it takes 2,000 2,046 stones to make a mask. And I have to put them on one by one. One by one. So that's why I say it takes me, like a good 2 to 3 days to get them done, to get a mask done. So, you know.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So that's like a tedious, like
very tedious. Yeah, it's very
oh
tedious. But
my.
once I put my mind to it, then, that's what it is. It's the goal. So the bike show is March 20th.
Okay.
So I'm gearing up for that. Um, I have a lot of pretty neat things that's on it, that you would have to see. Like if you're close enough to it, then you'll be able to see it. But
Okay.
I'm proud of this one.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's dope. That's super
yeah,
dope.
appreciate that.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Dang. Like, yeah.
So
Wow.
we'll
Are you
see
gonna
what
take
happens.
that over to
Yeah,
the
I don't know.
Illuminate?
To St. Thomas, I don't know. I don't know because a few friends have already asked me, like, yeah, man, you gonna bring it down to the VI? I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Because knowing me, if I took it down there, I would ride it one time for the Illuminate and then I
Yeah.
would give it away. I would just give it away to somebody. Like I'm not attached to the
Oh.
material stuff,
Yeah. But it's
So
dope. All that work.
yeah, I know, I know, I know. Listen,
Wow.
my wife has asked, she was like, what do you plan to do with this bike? Because you're never going to ride it. And I'm like, no, I just built it for the show.
Yeah.
Them guys just said they're going to, they're having a bike show. And the idea just came like, I could build a bike.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just did it, you know what I'm saying? Just to do it. And I guess once it's finished, I don't know. I might just
I like
give
it.
it
It's
away
dope.
or send it down to the islands or,
Yeah.
I'll figure it out. I'll figure out exactly what I'm going to do. But
Yeah, that's dope. That
yeah,
that's
but
dope.
right
That
now,
that
yeah. Yeah. I
and
just
the
put my foot
mask.
into it. Yeah. There's some
That's
other things on the other side of it too, but just like I said, I just want to give you the little sneak peek of it. Yeah, but it got some cool
thank you.
features that I got. It'll have some lights that goes on it too, that moves to the sound of music.
Okay.
Um, yeah, but all that is just put away. There's some little details that I have on it that you haven't gotten to see just yet. You know what I mean?
Okay. Okay.
So
Come on, Mr. Jack of all trades. Okay. Okay. Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
man, just trying to think, just you know what I mean, just try and give them a little something extra.
That was a
Yeah,
lot. That
yeah.
wasn't a little something. That was a lot. That was a lot of something. But I appreciate you for giving, and I took you over the time again. I know you're gonna be like TT. You always say you're not gonna hold me over an
You
hour.
good to go. You good to go.
I appreciate it. I appreciate your patience earlier when we were having technical difficulties. I do. I'm looking forward um to having you back on. I'm looking forward to having you and our city come through.
Sure.
When are they dropping their project?
I'm not sure yet because Tehran from our city, he's busy with all these number one records he's been writing, right? So he did Big Energy for Lotto.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, he did Have Mercy for Chloe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he just finished Sierra's new album. Like he did like all of her album. Lizzo,
Really?
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
Lizzo has a song right now that's out for the Logitech. It's a
Okay.
Logitech commercial. You could look for it on YouTube right now. The song is called Special.
Okay.
And he wrote that one. I mean, he's monstering right now on the songwriting side. So
Okay.
and then he just hit me yesterday, the day before yesterday, he's like, man, Benny, I got this cool idea. I want to do AKON's new album. And I'm like, can we get your album out first?
Right.
Before you keep adding on, these
Yeah.
other things
Yeah.
that you're doing or you want to do. Can we get that together first? Because
Yeah.
they brought me in as the A&R for the album. So,
Okay.
um,
Okay.
yeah, so it's been
We're
pretty
looking
cool.
forward to that. I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to
yeah,
that. That's
yeah.
wow. That's wow. That's mind
Mhm.
blowing. And
Oh, yeah.
he's in a zone right now.
He's in a zone right now. He's
Mhm.
really, really in a zone. So, I'm letting him get that part done first. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Because he'll take a break. There'll be a time like we're going to see Batman on Friday because
Okay.
it's coming out on Friday. So he just called me today, like, "Hey, listen, I'm getting all the tickets for us and the kids right now."
Okay.
So I'm like, "Yeah, okay, cool." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just letting him get through this part right now, and then once he gets to the point of taking the break, because what he does, he goes hard for a few months,
Yeah.
take a small break, hard for a few months, small break. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I'm gonna when we get to the next break, that's when we'll end up getting to the album.
Cool. Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Well, it's been a pleasure, my friend, to have you on.
Yep.
Um, as far as you coming back, we'll tap into like how they can send the bike to you, where they
Sure.
can send it to you.
Sure.
And then I did put in the scrolling down there as far as your handles, how people can follow you.
Yes.
Is that I know for Facebook and IG is Benny Demus. What about Twitter and
Twitter is
anything?
at Benny Demus too also.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and
Okay.
the name of the foundation is the Demus Foundation.
Okay.
And it's growing. It's growing really fast too right now. As far as me attaching all the things that I do
Okay.
in the Virgin Islands to it. It's just known for giving back now. You know what I'm saying? So it's really cool. I'm having a lot of fun with it. My wife and my kids, they're all in it. You know what I mean? They take turns as to who's coming out to the islands for what event.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
to help out and stuff like that. So they're having a good time with it also.
That's a blessing.
Yeah,
Tell them I said hello and thank you for letting me steal you this evening for a little
no
bit.
problem at all.
Yes. And so until the next time, my friend, you be
Yep.
safe, stay funky, keep on
You
creating
already
some
know.
stuff. I can't wait to see and hear about what you're getting ready to release because I know like
Yeah,
you got some stuff that you ain't, talking about. But I'm gonna be like, so can I get an exclusive?
I
So
got you. I got you. I got some cool stuff coming though, for real.
I
We
know
we
you
got some
do.
pretty cool stuff coming. Yeah, and
Okay.
Akon and I are about to perform in Boston on March
Ooh.
12th.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, so it's gonna be pretty. That's next week, next weekend. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be pretty cool what we're doing. This particular show.
Okay.
I'm really hyped for it. So, more to come, more info to come.
I'm gonna look into that because
Okay.
like that'd
Yeah.
be dope because you'll be kind of close.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of not really,
Kind of
but
now. Yeah.
kind of. We'll see. Okay. All right. Well, love to you, my friend. You be
Thank you.
safe. And until the next time, peace and love to you.
I respect.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, yes, for those of you that have been over there in Instagram world, thank you so much. Thank you so much. If you want to check out my interview with Benny Demus, you have to go over to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn. You could do all of that. This is the first show for YouTube. I'm super excited over there. So thank you for tapping in over there. And for all of you out there in Facebook world, StreamYard, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, thank you. You could have tapped into any other social media platform for a podcast show on Tap In Tuesday, but you chose us, and I'm super excited. Thank you for bearing with us when we were going through the technical difficulties. Technology cannot always be your friend, but I appreciate it. I know tonight was the big address from Biden, and so I know a lot of my normal people, they already let me know, like, DT, I'm going to be over there, and I get it. I respect it. But the beautiful thing about podcasting is that you could always look back and you could always chime in later. So with that being said, you stay blessed. You guys in Instagram world, you guys stay blessed. I'll see you soon. And for all my other friends out all over the place, whatever you're doing, stay blessed, stay favored. Know that God loves you. Whatever your goal is, whatever your craft is, believe in it. Okay. If you missed the beginning of the show with Benny Demus, you don't want to go to bed without seeing it. I held him over like a hostage, but he was kind. He's an amazing person, very talented, very gifted, and just an all around great person to know. So, with that being said, join us for Wind Down Wednesday tomorrow night, right? You know where, over on Spotify, or you can go to anchor.fm/TT from the D, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My special guest for the evening will be Mrs. Monife Knuth. She is a senior realtor, and we're going to talk about the market, the housing situations, the good time to buy, the bad time to buy, and what you can get, your bang for your buck, and a lot more. So tomorrow, 9 o'clock, Wind Down Wednesday. And you remember, every Tuesday, you could tap in at TAPN Tuesday right here with TT from the D. See you soon. Bye.